case we haven't met yet, my name is Albert Chan. I'm the secretary on the Mosaic's board of directors. And so it's great to be here. I think some of you might already be wondering where you can get some of the music and the curriculum we've been talking about. Well, I'm happy to say that all attendees today will get a digital swag bag. And so it's in the link. So feel free to click it. And it's a real special gift from us to you. Another question some of you might be having is if you want to be a youth leader, or you know someone between 15 and 23 who want to be a youth leader, we have a link as well, and there's an upcoming training in about a month, April 8th. So feel free to send that link along as well. And third, I know there's at least one teacher that I met earlier, and there might be more who might want to get their school involved. And there's also a link in the chat for that as well. And fourth, if you're at an organization that might benefit from some of the trainings we were talking about earlier, but that is in the chat as well. So we've put all these resources together to make it as easy for you to participate with Mosaic in your own way. Now, your final question might be, well, why am I speaking right now? And in true Mosaic fashion, if you really knew me, you would know that most people in Mosaic call me Albie. And like many on this call, I've been with Mosaic for a while, for about 20 years now. I was actually a camp counselor in the very first pilot session of Mosaic, and that's 2001 in that picture. Some say I haven't aged, and others think I'm still a high school student. Regardless, I've become a staff member since being a cabin leader. I've also joined the board, and so now I've been here 2 decades now. And I can proudly say that I've never been more excited and more convinced that our work is more critical than ever. Now, even being here for 20 years, like I think it's really hard to understand Mosaic if you haven't been, at the school in these programs. And I think it kind of boils down to this question of like, how do you explain like these really deep things, right? How do you explain the pride you feel when your students can teach you about discrimination in their communities? And they're usually wiser and more vulnerable than most adults. How do you explain the awe of working day in and day out with the dream team, right? You've seen some of them on screen today. They're talented, they're inspirational. It's a diverse team of role models, and they really value one another. And how do you explain how your heart just melts completely when these children gather around a campfire to sing about peace? And then they turn around to tell you that you sing like an angel when you're clearly off key. That's amazing. And finally, how do you explain how the world is better off when 3 schools who would never meet in any other setting spend a week together and have students who leave as lifelong friends? The thing about Mosaic is that the outdoor school is only a part of its magic. The people, the mission, and yes, the music, they stay with you. When I joined Mosaic, I thought we were helping the young students, but as I grew older, I realized Mosaic is as much as for me as for anyone else. These are really trying times. 2 years of a pandemic, a war in Ukraine. I've become more and more convinced that human connection and empathy is in far too short supply, and they result in too high of a cost for us and for society. I think it's precisely the ability of Mosaic to have us connect with each other that make it one of the most important things that we can support today. And there's another reason to be really excited right now about Mosaic. A permanent home for our outdoor school is now on the cusp of being a reality. It's been a dream since our very beginning, and our own land will give us flexibility to run programs year-round, which would allow us to quadruple the number of participants served. It would also provide stability to become a physical center for diversity, empathy, and conflict resolution. This dream is now becoming a reality thanks to Scott and Molly Forstall, who purchased a beautiful 37-acre property for us in Castro Valley, which is 25 minutes from Oakland. We're proud to call it Forstall Forest, so a million thanks to Scott and Molly for making this happen. And we have been busy with this. We've been drilling wells, we've been designing water systems and creating building layouts. And now, officially, our site plan is complete. You can check out a virtual version of our camp and explore the plans and gather, designed by our very own Nils Forstall, who's on this call, with help from Hector Marte from our Gap Year crew. There have been some exciting updates since last year, so you can explore the model after our program. And so the official update is that we're nearing the end of our very extensive permitting process, and Alameda County is completing an environmental impact report as early as this month. So the public hearing will likely begin by summer. So stay tuned, because we hope that you can come out, support us, and even join us at some of these hearings. So this really is a pivotal time for Mosaic, and that's why we need your support more than ever. It's because of you, our generous donors, who have made this program possible over the last 2 decades. Because of you, we have not and will not allow a child or a school to miss out on the opportunity to learn Mosaic values because of a lack of funds. So let's run a quick thought exercise. I want you, and yes, you at your computer, to think about your top 3 priorities for the world. And I'm going to ask you to type at least one of them into the chat. So of the 3 things you want in this world, can you put in the chat one of them that you'd like to see? Love, that's a great one. Kindness, peace, government accountability, environment, equality, empathy, peace, inclusion. I couldn't agree more with everyone. Now let's pause for a moment. Now, the next question for you is, think about the top 3 things you spend your money on. Do your lists match? Money is powerful, and we have the ability to put our money, no matter the amount, towards our values. I know that the pandemic has impacted many families, so we invite you to donate whatever you can. I also want to point out that though the pandemic has impacted us all, it has not impacted us equally. For me, my wife and I have had steady jobs, and I've actually saved money during the last 2 years. If you're in a similar situation as me, I challenge you to challenge yourself. Stretch yourself and go above and beyond what you were already planning. We operate on an extremely tight budget, so every donation really does count. You can donate right now on our website at www.mosaicproject.org/donate, or send us a check. On our website, there are options to make a recurring donation and become a sustaining supporter. Links are all in the chat. So now, the moment you've been waiting for, I invite you to make a donation right now and to honor someone in your life with that donation. Please type in the chat who you are honoring, as well as the amount you are donating, to help us keep track and to inspire us all. If you don't feel comfortable chatting publicly, you can also chat the Mosaic Project directly. So join me in giving a contribution that is meaningful to you. Whether it's $5 that helps us buy stamps, or $50,000 that supports over 100 students at the outdoor school. Nothing is too little, and nothing is definitely too much. Moving forward, you can also support us by buying merchandise on our webpage or do a training at your organization. All proceeds directly fund our youth programs, so it's a real win-win-win. So I invite you again to put in the chat who you would like to donate in honor of and the amount. I'm already seeing some names. Marcel, Terry's mother, Alice, and Sabrina is donating $10,000 in honor of her cousin, Noah. Thank you so much. Chantal is donating in honor of her recently deceased father, Edward. So thank you. And Marilyn is donating $1,000 in honor of her niece to bring them oil. Lori, thank you so much for your $2,500 in honor of your sister, Jane, Lara, and someone named Albie. Thank you, Mari, for pledging to donate monthly for the rest of this year. Leah, thank you for your donation in honor of your Mama Linda. And Eric, thank you for your donation for Elliot and Clara. And Lawrence, and Jane, and Terry. This is a phenomenal community. Thank you so much. And you've inspired me to actually honor my own kids. I have a two young kids, 1 5 and 1 2, and I only hope that Mosaic will be there for them and they can go participate as well. Without further ado, it's really been an honor to share this morning with all of you. Since being a part of Mosaic, my students have gone on to be cabin leaders, and their students have gone on to become their own cabin leaders. So at this point, I think I've achieved Mosaic great-grandfather status. Hopefully that legacy is only beginning. If I'm lucky, I will stay involved for the next 20 years. So stay safe, everyone, and thank you for being a part of this really special community.
So thank you for just being you, and thank you for your donation too. So thank you for just being you, and thank you for your donation.